Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate you guys being part of my day job. I am truly blessed. Sometimes I feel like my life has been pointing me in directions or guiding me in different things that I've done. And this is kind of like the culmination of everything that I've done. I've always been a woodworker, and I've always thought of woodworking as art. Building cabinets or building pieces that are in the Smithsonian has always been like art to me. This is a whole nother level of being artistic. As a child, I used to buy model airplanes and put them together. I always had an affinity for um, World War II planes and fighter jets. And I would buy them, of course, and um, put them together and have to paint all the little detail on it, which is something I haven't had to do in a long time, being just a regular cabinet maker. Getting my inventables has um, having the artwork pieces, which I originally hadn't planned on doing anything other than shadow work, is now actually brought me back to my roots as a child, actually painting and doing the colors. This is a butcher block that I'm making right now for a lady who used to be a Capitol Hill officer. So what I'm doing is I'm painting in the colors for the background. Once that dries, then I can sand it so that way the details will come out, and then I can put the other color. Because what's going to happen is actually I messed up on this because the leaves are supposed to be white. The inner parts of it are supposed to be blue. So blue will actually go all around through here, and then white around the Capitol Police portion of it. So I have to paint, sand, and then paint some more to get all the colors together to make this look as much as the original as possible. So this is very, very creative, and I guess you could say that we're painting an artwork piece. I've gotten to really love doing this. This is not so much the grunt work of when I have to get a full sheet of plywood and cut it down and mill it and everything else. This is more quiet and enjoyable more than anything. You know, my wife always says, do what you like what you do. And yesterday for me, I was taking care of a rental property where we had to do repairs and stuff on the house, and going through the red brick house, a 200-year-old house that we're getting ready to start renovating, which is going to be, it'll be amazing to try and bring that back to life. I'm realizing the joy and the love of doing these pieces one at a time. And when I hear from the people that get the pieces and they're stunned, it's actually amazing for me. What I realized yesterday was I missed the hum of the Inventables. So I'll have to keep on going through, putting the layers of the colors in there, putting the layers of the colors into this. and making this come to life. Now, this one is going to take more time on it because if you look here, I'm going to paint all of the blue in here first, and then I've got to actually paint the white back up on there. So this one is going to take a lot of detail to get this one, a whole lot of detail. And now I'll have to come back and put the white in here again, and then I'll sand that before all this has to be painted blue, and it has to be kind of crisp on details. So I'm just going to paint all of this in here real good just to get all of the blue background. But to make the leaves pop out, I'll come back through and paint the white. So what you're going to see, you see where I'm kind of filling in all of this. What's going to happen is all of this is then the tops of it are going to have to be painted one at a time with the leaf on it. See, all of this will have to be painted up to the gold. See that? To give the crisp lines. Now you don't have to worry so much about over here where I get too much blue on here, because what I'll do is I'll take the sander and I'll sand off the extra color here. Now the other places you're going to have to be, of course, really careful, because you're going to have to cut. All of the detail in here will have to be cut around all of the Capitol Police. I've got to paint all of that white, and I'll come back with that later. But right now I want to get the main deep colors in first, the shadow color, so to speak. I probably could have just painted the background. You know, with some of these I just paint the background black and just let the shadow, so it's like a black and white picture. But this one I wanted to put in the colors because the colors are so vibrant, that this will be, I think, pretty. Now we'll see how well it comes out, because this is by far the most complex one that I've had to do thus far, because of the gold line that's there. What really sets this off is when you end up putting the epoxy onto it. This one right here, this nice one right there, is actually very easy because it is just the one color, and you can just paint all the color in there and then sand the top of it off, and you've got the perfect shadow for it. But this one is for Jacqueline, a great fan and follower, so I want to make sure that this is perfect. Okay, so we've got, looks like, all of our filling in there. We'll let that dry and we'll come back and do some more of that. A second coat in there. I've got a, I know this part is, I think this is all white, so I'm not sure if that, I think this is white as well. I think this is like the ribbon is folded up underneath there, so this is the end of the blue. And I'll probably have to cut that back again, but I'm just trying to get the first outline done. We'll come back and clean all it up. All of this right here is blue as well, but I'm going to let the white dry up first. And when I do the white, I know I'm going to get some of it on the blue, in which case I'll have to touch that back up some more too. This is a multi-step process. And I think what I'm going to do here today, I've got to remodel a bathroom. I'm going to be gone for 3 days, but I'm trying to get as much work done before I do go. I want to see if I can get this painted today and get the epoxy process started on it. But I think I'm going to actually set up the cutter, making a Dallas Cowboy star. I got a little too, oh no, I didn't. That's the spot. The cutter is going to be making a Dallas Cowboys tabletop, color-wise, star. And I think I may set up the machine and actually live stream it, so that way you can go through and see the process of making the star. Okay, it's beginning to take a little bit of a shape to it. Now, once again, I'm thinking, I may go ahead and put red in there one more time to make sure it's nice and deep red to fill it in. But you can see that this is beginning to take shape. Once I sand out the edges on here, it'll be nice and crisp and clean. And then I can go through and I can finish up with a smaller brush, just retouching these edges to make sure they're as clean as possible. They're only going to be but so good because, well, I only have so steady of a hand. Okay, that's the first step of this process. I'm going to go ahead and wait to get all of this put in. I just want to try and get some of it for the first coat. And then we'll do the final trim. Just kind of get the field. This is kind of like, when you think about it, when you grew up, when we used to paint color, it's like coloring, like a coloring book. You've got the colors all marked out, and you got to fill it in with your crayon. I have to fill it in with my paint. Color by number. I'll come back to the really narrow brush. See, got a little bit of blue in there to really make the lines crisper. This is about getting the main colors up in here right now. Yep, it's bleeding right there. All right, so we're getting close on that. So now we'll go through and we'll hit the red one more time. just want to make sure that the don't miss any spots and that the color is real nice and vivid. This will actually be the third coat in here. Then we'll come back through with the white. That'll be in the groove all the way around and on the top of the letters. Now what we'll do to make our life easy is I'll use my little sander, random orbital sander, and I will sand close, but not too close that I get the blue, but to sand the paint. Actually, I might even use a detail sander to sand off as much of the red to make it easy for the white to go on there. And we'll do the same thing on this as well to get the blue, so that way it'll only take one coat of the white. What I use is paint and primer in one. This is latex semi-gloss. This is actually a cutting board, I can't pronounce it, but basically a salami board. On this side, that's epoxy. The other side is actually hand oil rubbed, in which case that's your butcher block side. This would be like a serving tray side, or you just flip it over when you're not using it, so you have a pretty side in the kitchen of whatever you want to display. So far I've had from Dak Prescott's uncle having a picture of Dak and his mother, to a gentleman who had his blue Corvette, to family portraits, as well as the star or anything else. So you can begin to see how this is kind of taking shape and changing and evolving with this. You can see now that this is drying that there's some light and dark spots, and that's why we'll go back through it. This is just kind of the rough painting of the badge itself. So that's what I do here. You can see here some blanks that are actually glued up. I actually have over here the machine. I'm getting ready to cut that out with put the blue star inside of that and make that piece a tabletop. And even over here, this is another one I need to go ahead and paint into it. This is, here's a test version. I took a piece of scrap wood to actually make this one. What I'm actually going to do with this is we're going to actually paint the hair a little bit here, some of the colors that are on there. There's actually some yellow in the windows and things. This is just like I said, that was a scrap piece of wood I did as a test. But we're going to do this whole piece here. Now what we're going to do with this to make this even more realistic is I need to sand some of this because of it being glued up. We've gone through and we've actually put plastic on top of this, which will keep all of the white. White makes life a lot easier. We'll go through and we'll paint all of the black here first, get that out of the way, and then we'll come through and add just a little bit of color to give it some depth. Remember, this is a night shot. All of this will be black. We'll have like the yellow that's in the window coming out and things. We'll have the bluish tinge of the hair on there, and then we'll fill this in with epoxy resin, so that way it'll give it the depth. And the original version, of course, is actually cut flush here. So once the whole thing's done, we'll actually rip it here to give it that whole look. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. So this is a new love for me. And of course, there's a portrait of my love right here as well. Yeah, that's me and my wife where we were on vacation several years ago. So this is taking this to a whole nother level. And I have to say, this machine, this Inventables, has been amazing, the things that I've been able to do with this thing. And I absolutely, positively love it. I can't imagine my workshop now without it being in here. So I'm going to work on this some more, and I'll show you the end result once it's all done.